Bulba Show!
Hey guys, welcome to BulbaTube. I am not Professor Bulba, as you can tell. My name is Bastian from the channel Bastian Time, but here you guys can call me Professor Bastian. Anyways, I've got more weird Nintendo facts for you guys, so let's get to it, starting with number 7. Oh, right, I forgot the tank top thing. Okay. Oh boy, it's cold. Anyways, let's get to number 7. The Nintendo 64 controller was the very first controller in existence to have an analog stick. That's right, before any other video game consoles, the Nintendo 64 had the very first analog stick. Now something that's a staple across all video game platforms and something that Nintendo's been criticized for not having enough of, even though they're the ones who developed it to begin with. Number 6, since we're already talking about the Nintendo 64, let's talk about the fact that it was the very first console to feature 3D graphics. That's right, again, setting huge milestones before any other console out there, this was the first one to do 3D graphics. The Nintendo 64 was pretty revolutionary. Number 5, it turns out that even though you look around and you see that everybody's got an iPhone, I mean everybody, it turns out that actually worldwide there have been more Nintendo DS's, is that the plural? Sold than iPhones, than Game Boys, than any of that. So, wow, the DS really sold extremely well. Of course, this has a lot to do with Japan, and the fact that in Japan, the iPhone doesn't sell super well, but the DS has sold extremely well. So that sort of accounts for that misconception there, but still, regardless, more DS's sold than iPhones. That's pretty cool. Number 4, Mario has a 27-foot jump. That's right, someone actually took the time to measure pixel by pixel based on an average man's height, if we assume Mario is an average height. Exactly how big is his jump anyway? And it turns out that it's 27 feet. How is that possible? It looks like he eats a lot of pasta, and let me tell you, after some spaghetti I don't feel like jumping or running or anything, so I don't know how he does it, but I guess I better start eating that pasta or mushrooms. Number 3, since we're already talking about Mario, his name, Mario, comes from the fact that back in the day, in the early days of Nintendo of America, they had a landlord named Mario Segal, and they decided, when they were trying to figure out a better name for Mario, because he had all kinds of weird names, and we'll get to that, they decided, let's just call him Mario, and so it was. Number 2, speaking of all of those weird games that Mario's had, first it started out as Mr. Video, and Mr. Miyamoto decided that what he wanted to do was have Mr. Video in all of the Nintendo games in some form or other, but that didn't quite work. So then they changed it to Jumpman, and as you know, that didn't stick, and now he's just Mario. And that's right, no last name. At least that's what it was originally intended to be. Originally, Mr. Miyamoto has gone on record and said Mario has no last name, it's just Mario. But now in recent years, some Nintendo execs have said that they think his name is Mario. We'll have to wait and hear from Mr. Miyamoto once again before we have canonical evidence for that. And number 1, Mr. Miyamoto, since we're already talking about him, was originally hired at Nintendo at the young age of 24. That's crazy, that was so young. And all he was doing back then was some conceptual art stuff, but then he quickly grew in the ranks, as you can see, until now he's a fellow of game development or something like that. He basically completely oversees all of game development at Nintendo, so wow, 24 he started out as, that's crazy. Anyways, that has been these 7 still more weird Nintendo facts, or whatever we're gonna call this. If you want to check out my own channel where I babble every day about Nintendo news, you can do so by clicking over here. Thanks again to Professor Bulba for inviting me over here to share these weird Nintendo facts with you guys. See you guys next time. Bye.